Alright, so hopefully this is framed up well and you can actually see me. I'm going to look right at the lens to make sure that I'm perfectly in frame. Hoping. So the beer that I just picked up from the corner store up the road is an 8-year anniversary beer of a brewery called Brasseur du Monde. I'm probably pronouncing that horribly because it's French. And the name of the beer is Brut. I really like that art with the crow on the skull. That's super cool. And it's an extra strong beer. 8.8%, 473 milliliters, as is typical of a tall can like this. And it's brewed in Saint-Hyacinthe, Quebec, where Brasseur du Monde is located. In terms of the story, there's an interesting story in the back here. To mark our 8th anniversary, our head brewer Dominique Charbonneau created a brew of strong blonde beer fermented with champagne yeast. Treatment with enzymes to reduce residual sugars gives this beer its brut character. While not a brut IPA, this dry beer with a hint of honey flavors is overlaid with a bold, somewhat resinous and slightly fruity bitterness thanks to generous hopping. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds absolutely delicious to me. So, without further ado, I think I'm going to crack this one open. It's fizzing a little bit because it was shaking around a bit in my backpack on the way back to my apartment. Yeah. It smells thick. Almost like flowers. And a bit of citrus in there too. But like the IPA strength, like that thickness is still there, but it's got like the citrus and the flowery scents are still kind of like, they're almost equally matched. It's really nice. It's a bit lighter than typical IPAs, even though the beer itself is like 8.8%. The taste is a little bit lighter. Oh, huh? Oh, I fucked that up royally. Oh god. I know I'm never gonna live that down. Ever. Fuck. It just like spilled everywhere. God damn it. Oh well. On the downside, I am a little bit hungry right now, so this 8.8% is probably going to affect me quite a bit. I guess I'll try and wait for that the foam to subside a little bit. I really got to learn how to pour this shit properly so this doesn't happen, because this happens every fucking time. Because usually I'm so used to drinking stuff just right out of the can or right out of the bottle, which I hear that you're not supposed to do if you really want to get the full brunt of the flavor. But yeah, it's definitely something I should probably invest more time, when I have the time, into learning how to properly do. It probably wouldn't take as much time as I think. But yeah, this is really good. Okay, interesting. So like, the scent of the flowers and the citrusy notes is more overpowering as a scent than it is as a taste. As a taste, it's really, really strong with the hops and the thickness that a typical IPA would have. Yeah, it's definitely, I don't want to say deceiving, but it is a little bit deceiving in the smell when compared to the taste, which was interesting because I haven't quite encountered a beer yet that's like that, where it smells like one way, then you taste it and it's like, oh shit, it's gone the other way now. Ugh. Excuse me. Interesting stuff. So yeah, that's the 8th anniversary Brut Lever de Champagne, Levure de Champagne. That's probably a horrible pronunciation, but really good. And on the back, it says it's best compared with meat, sushi, cheese, and served at 8 degrees Celsius. Now, as a vegan, of course, I can't condone any of that, including the 8 degrees Celsius part. That's very not vegan. But, you know, if it's good with the real stuff, I'm sure it's good with the fake stuff too. In other news, of course, with what's going on in the world right now, I'm sure I don't even need to say it, but there's a little thing called COVID-19 that's going around. And believe it or not, the area that I live in Montreal, Côte-des-Neiges, is actually the worst hotspot in the whole city. And Montreal is the worst city in all of Canada, I think. Maybe Toronto is a little bit worse, but Montreal is actually one of the worst hotspots for it in the entire country. And it just so happens to be right in my neighborhood. Somehow I haven't caught it yet, which is a miracle, and knock on wood that I don't catch it. But it's crazy to see how something like this just affects the general way of life of everyone, you know. I go out on the street in the mornings to go to work because my workplace got labeled essential, so I still am working Monday to Thursday, though my hours got cut a little bit. And the streets that were normally so like bustling and so alive with people, especially students going to school, because there's a private college just up the street and an elementary school around the block, and both of those things would cause like there to be so many people, so many students milling about early in the morning, you know, lots of buses on the go, parents out walking with their children, that kind of thing. And then on the weekends there's a few bars in this area, so every time I'd be walking home from somewhere, the bars would just be full of people, and all that's gone now. So it's a little bit unnerving. It's kind of post-apocalyptic. It reminds me of the opening scenes from like The Walking Dead or 28 Days Later, something like that. And then when you go to the grocery stores, you know, everyone's wearing their masks, everyone got gloves on, you're supposed to stay 2 meters away from people. There's security guards like making sure they sanitize your hands before you go inside. It's fucking crazy, but the worst thing about all of it is the people that were hoarding toilet paper, which I don't think is happening anymore, but I don't understand, like, how much toilet paper does a single family need, you know? Like, the amount that I would see in some people's carts where people would have a shopping cart with like 10 packs of toilet paper inside. Like, no human being, no family of like 4 even, shits that much in 2 weeks to warrant buying that much toilet paper. It just doesn't make sense. So, I don't know. In my opinion, the whole world's lost its fucking mind. I guess we'll see what happens, because right now we're not on lockdown yet, like Italy is, but it may very well happen. So, you know, there might be a lot more vlogs like this in the future of me drinking a beer, talking about the flavor, and then discussing something very depressing and honestly kind of morbid. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. So until next time, I'm Greg, Raven Brave, the Skull Mug. Cheers.